I'm back, and Jim Ryan is still lying. So I'm back after a couple of days off. It's been a good Christmas celebration couple of days for me and a nice little break. So I hope all of you had a great Christmas and had some great time with your families and got some cool gifts and all that type of stuff. I got a bunch of cool things. I'll probably show it off at some point, but it was a good time. It was a nice little break. And over that break, there wasn't very much news except for one main thing that had to do with Jim Ryan talking about Xbox Game Pass, saying that it was not competition for PlayStation, which completely contradicts previous things that he has said. Now, this shouldn't be too big of a surprise for anybody. I mean, Jim Ryan is doing what he has to do for PlayStation. He will say anything for PlayStation, no matter it's truth, whether it's a lie, whatever he has to do in order to protect the PlayStation business, to help it grow and to help it stay on top, he is going to do, which is essentially his job. So I mean, you can't really fault him too much for doing that. I don't fault him for doing it. He's a businessman, and he's doing a relatively decent job with PlayStation with this entire ABK thing, with pushing this and making this last a lot longer than it probably needs to last, with the hopes that the deal doesn't go through. Activision Blizzard isn't part of Xbox Game Studios, and every single year, if this deal doesn't go through, they won't have to pay Xbox all this money for Call of Duty, which will help Xbox grow. They just take that money, reinvest it back into the platform, reinvest it into Game Pass, help grow that service, which is going to be the future. Xbox Game Pass is the future, cloud gaming is the future, and the industry knows this, PlayStation knows this, which is why they have slowly started to adjust with their PlayStation Plus tiers, with PlayStation PC, with a PlayStation Mobile division, all this type of stuff. It's them signaling they know they're eventually going to have to change from the current method that they have, which is their console exclusivity stuff. Those business methods are a way of the past, and Xbox is doing it the best right now, and they're going to be the leader in the future. But we have this, and this blew up over Christmas. This article is posted on Christmas Eve, and it has to do with Jim Ryan's and Sony's thoughts on Xbox Game Pass and overall competition. Now, this is from Insider Gaming, and this is from an anonymous source. So again, obviously from anything from an anonymous source, they try to protect the person because they're giving information, and if it gets known who is saying this, they'll probably affect their job or affect their career, all that type of stuff. But still, anonymous source, take it with a grain of salt. It says here, one source who wishes to remain anonymous because they couldn't speak about their knowledge of the information publicly has said that Jim Ryan had an employee Q&A earlier this month where he talked about market competition. In response to a question about Xbox Game Pass, Jim Ryan reportedly said that when he considers Game Pass, it seems to be getting lower Game Pass numbers. When we consider Game Pass, we've sold more PS5s in 2 years than they have gathered subscribers, and they've been doing that for 6 to 7 years. And then he continues here and says, we're just shy of 50 million subscribers, and they're in the low 20s, but there's more work to grow that number. Now, it's a very interesting quote because we know previous things that he said about Game Pass. We know what the numbers are, all that type of stuff. And particularly here, he uses the 50 million subscriber number, which is a number that we already know is not a good comparison between PlayStation and Xbox, because that is including all of their PS Plus tiers, all of their previous PSN Essential subscribers who never upgraded to the higher tiers. It's everybody who's all subscribed to PlayStation Network they're using in that number, where Xbox Game Pass is only using people who are actually subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, not people subscribed just to Xbox Live Gold and within the Xbox ecosystem. And on top of that, we also saw previous financial reports from PlayStation where their number of subscribers are decreasing, although the revenues are going up. And I would say that's probably because they have those higher tiers and you have less people paying a bit more money for their subscription services at the PlayStation Plus premium level. The overall subscriber numbers on PlayStation within their network is decreasing. And then we take a look at this. This is from Tweaktown here, and these are some of the comments that Jim Ryan made to the CMA when trying to get this deal to be blocked or to be looked at in more depth. And this is clear cut. All Jim Ryan is trying to do here is change the narrative to fit whatever is going to benefit PlayStation. So internally, he's talking to his employees, he's talking to people who work at Sony and work at PlayStation, and he's playing it up to look like PlayStation or Xbox Game Pass is absolutely not a threat whatsoever. There's nothing you need to worry about. We're not worried about it, so you don't need to worry about it. And we're going to continue to keep doing what we're doing, where the evidence currently right now is out there that PlayStation definitely sees Game Pass as a threat, from the stuff that he says here, which I'll go over, and just from the way that they are running their business, the way that they are transforming their business to go more along the lines of Xbox. And let's just see some of the things that Sony said to the CMA in response to the Microsoft Activision Blizzard merger. First of all, it says here, Game Pass leads PlayStation Plus significantly. Microsoft already has a substantial lead in multi-game subscription services. Game Pass has had 29 million subscribers to Xbox Game Pass, console, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and is expected to grow substantially in the future. The multi-game subscription tiers of PlayStation Plus considerably lag, with fewer than, numbers redacted, number of subscribers. Clearly there, I mean, you can tell he's a little bit worried. He's worried that Game Pass is going to continue to grow and that PlayStation Plus is never going to be able to catch up. And again, like I mentioned earlier, there's the financial reports where they actually lost a substantial amount from PlayStation Plus. It says here, recent substantial 1.9 million loss in PlayStation Plus subscribers during the Q2 period. I mean, that's a big amount of subscribers to lose. You don't want to be losing people from a subscription model. That's the main thing that shouldn't ever be happening. If you're offering good value or offering enough stuff in there and at a good price that people want to stay subscribed, even if they're not using it all the time, you want that number to continuously grow. And with PlayStation, that hasn't been the case. And this drop happened, they say here, shortly after Sony introduced its new PlayStation Plus 3-tiered system. Now, the revenues did increase, but that is probably because, like I said, they have the 3-tier system where you have a more expensive model where a lot of people transferred over. There was a big thing with PlayStation Plus, even I did it when it first came out, is where you could pay a certain amount to just upgrade to PS Plus Premium for the rest of the year. And it wasn't a big amount of money, so a lot of people probably looked at that and said, hey, yeah, I might as well try it, which is something that I did. And then another thing from this quote to take away, as they mentioned here, is that Game Pass, if we're going by what Sony is saying to the CMA, it's bigger than what Microsoft has says. It says here, if Sony's number is correct, then the actual Xbox Game Pass subscribers are 4 million more, or 16% more than the figure that Microsoft has provided. And you take a look here at the subscriptions. Again, PlayStation Plus includes their entire PSN, which is falling since they actually made something to try to compete with Xbox Game Pass, whereas Game Pass itself right now is sitting at 29 million. So clearly, from what Jermaine is saying to the regulators who are going to look at this and try to block the Activision Blizzard acquisition, it is a huge piece of competition to PlayStation. And in fact, they're quite worried that Game Pass is going to continue to grow and continue to get better, which will make it much harder for PlayStation to be able to catch them in the long run. And looking further into the actual PlayStation Plus, because this, again, like I said, this is a pretty big thing. And this is all from information that we have received from PlayStation. PlayStation Plus, they lost 1.9 million subscribers and 55% of their players do not subscribe. That is a large chunk of people, an opportunity for PlayStation to try to grow their services, but people just don't want to subscribe to right now. And that's also a chunk of people that, if they're playing on PlayStation, that Xbox could easily go over there and try to get them to come over to Xbox Game Pass to subscribe to the Game Pass service, showing the value that the service has. And I think that is something that is going to happen at some point. You're going to see people from PlayStation that aren't subscribed to the subscription model there going over to Xbox, especially when stuff like Starfield comes out, stuff like Redfall comes out, and if this deal goes through, if games like Call of Duty go on to the service. So it's pretty obvious, again, what is going on here. They are afraid of Game Pass. They don't want it to grow, but internally they need to allow people to think that that isn't the case and that their current strategy is a strategy that is completely working and that they're going to continue to utilize going forward, which I do not see that being the case whatsoever. You're going to see PlayStation more and more follow along the lines of Xbox, and it's always been like this. People like look at the industry and think that PlayStation is on top always because they do all of these great things, which they do. They make some really great games, but at the end of the day, you take a look at the industry trends since Xbox has come out, the OG Xbox, PlayStation has continuously copied the OG Xbox. All of the things that we have, a lot of the innovations are because of Xbox. You think about Xbox Live, you think about even just recently Microsoft Rewards, then you have the PlayStation Plus stars. Now you think about Xbox Game Pass, and now you have the PlayStation Plus tiered subscription model, which yes, it isn't as good as Game Pass, but still, if you're somebody who only ever wants to play on PlayStation, it is still a good service to be able to have. And then just a bunch of other things, even the backwards compatibility of this generation is because of Xbox, and then PlayStation eventually had to pivot and copy them. So a lot of the innovations we have within the gaming industry right now between these two consoles is because of Xbox, and PlayStation is going to continue to follow and copy Xbox, and it works for them because they're already on top, PlayStation, in terms of the amount of users that they have and the amount of people that play on that console compared to the Xbox console. They also have all of Japan, which they get to take advantage of, but they get to continue doing what they're doing, then look what Xbox is doing, and then eventually do stuff to be able to match what Xbox is doing, which is what they have done, like I said, with these PlayStation Plus tiers, again at a lower level. But it is definitely competition that PlayStation is scared of going forward, and the ABK deal is going to be something that really bolsters Game Pass going forward, which is why PlayStation and Jim Ryan are doing everything in their power to try to stop the deal. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think about Jim Ryan's comments or potential comments based off of what the anonymous source has said. And what do you think about Game Pass? Do you think that PlayStation really does look at this as a major competitor? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.